Today I am giving a speech to my sister, Savannah Jones. We have all heard in history class of the exploits of the great generals from Alexander the Great to Napoleon Bonaparte, even as recently as Patton. All these men conquered all that lay before them, but ironically, almost unheard of in the West is the greatest conqueror in history, a man whose campaigns and battles seem almost legendary. His name is Subutai, one of the 4 legendary generals of Genghis Khan, who are also known as his 4 dogs. Before we get into what Subutai did, I must tell you where he came from. Believed born in 1175 AD, he belonged to the Urukai clan. His family had been associated with Genghis Khan's family for generations, often pledging them fealty. At the age of 14, following in the footsteps of his elder brother Jelm, he joined Genghis Khan's newly fledged army of the steppes. By the age of 24, he was a general in command of a tumen of over 10,000 men strong. As a general, he even rivaled Genghis Khan himself. He was an expert in sieges, with his nomad army often conquering cities within days, unheard of at the time. From the conquered, he would often conscript specialized men, such as engineers, to help in his campaigns and sieges. For the rest of the population, though, unfortunately, they would often be slaughtered to the last man, woman, and child, or be used as human shields in future battles and campaigns. Another aspect of the way he waged war and led his men was that he would often employ spies to infiltrate enemy lands to gather intelligence, often months if not years before he was due to arrive. With this intelligence, he could often maneuver his armies quickly, and often arriving days if not weeks before he was expected to arrive. Once he defeated an army, there were few, if any, survivors to go home. His cavalry often chased them for days over hundreds of kilometers in distance. One of his greatest accomplishments was his destruction of both the Hungarian and Poland's armies within 2 days and 500 kilometers apart. Fortunately for the rest of Europe, which he was planning to invade, he was called home due to the death of Ogedei Khan, Genghis Khan's son and successor. His return to Mongolia would ultimately lead to the succession of the Mongolian throne. Once he returned home to Mongolia, he was sent to southern China in order to finish off the remaining Song dynasty. After he destroyed the last dynasty, he would finally retire after 58 years of war, and would die peacefully at the age of 72. His legacy would include participating in 65 battles, the conquering of 32 nations from China in the east to Poland in the west, and the deaths of tens, if of thousands, of men, women, and China. Subutai was a general without par. Few, if any, modern-day generals can even measure up to him. He conquered more land than any other man in history. Subutai was truly remarkable. Thank you for listening to my speech. Have a good afternoon.